Hey, welcome y'all. Come on in, come on in. This is part three of dating as a single parent. We do apologize for the delay, a lot of technical issues, but hey, we're going to move right along. Give a few minutes for people to come in. Okay, so we're going to move right along. Welcome. I'm Coach Sheree, the single parent life coach, and I'm honored to lead this discussion of part three of dating as a single parent. I have my coaching panel with me today. Each coach will have 5 to 7 minutes per question, and we'll conclude with final reflections from everyone. So I'm going to welcome the panelists, and each one can go in a random order. Introduce yourself.
Well, I'll get us started. I am Coach Shalita. I'm a divorce coach and an encourager, and I'm excited to be back on this panel once again. You guys buckle up because it's going to be fun and it's going to be live. I mean, literally live.
Absolutely.
I'm Coach Heather Carpenter. I am a self awareness and coach, and I'm just so glad to be here. We had some technical issues, a little frustrated, but we're going to, focus in on the topics at hand and give you guys a good discussion tonight.
Absolutely.
Hello,
Next panel.
I am Tor Love, the CEO of the Ahava Corporation, also author and life coach.
My name is John Griggs. I'm a licensed minister, creative coach, author, and I'm excited to be with this great group of women yet again. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's just dive right in, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, we said this is dating as a single parent, part three panel discussion. Let me just get our question up here one moment. So, we're going to kind of move backwards a little bit. We're going to start at a different part, but we're going to move back to when to know you still have work to do prior to dating. So, our first question is, what are the signs that a single parent may need to focus on healing or personal growth before pursuing a relationship? Anybody can take that one.
I think one of the biggest things is recognizing that you're trying to move forward and that you're not continuing to live in the past. You're not always comparing a person with someone from your past and you've done the work yourself. You've gone through your healing journey and you're still, I'm sure, going through it, but you're at a place where you want to share your life with somebody.
Absolutely. I agree. Anyone else?
I like what Coach Shalita said, and the fact that you definitely have to forgive self, forgive those that you feel might have done you bad, and and take time to reflect on what you got out of the previous relationship or relationships. What was your takeaway? Sometimes we look at the situation and say, oh, this person did this, and we always have the finger pointed at the other person, but not taking time to reflect internally to see what we were able to learn about ourselves from that situation. So if we're still pointing the finger out and not reflecting inward, that's probably, I think that's a good sign that a single parent needs to focus on healing and personal growth.
Absolutely. I agree. Anyone else?
Yes, I would like to add just paying attention to your triggers in the process. Whatever still triggers you is something that you still need to work on.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that, Coach Tour, because I do believe that sometimes that doesn't happen until you're actually out dating, like until you're actually on a date or you're actually dating somebody or talking to someone. If you're just sitting at home and not going out and not, really getting trying to get to know someone, you really don't know if you still have those triggers. If you're just sitting at home and just chilling, like most of us do. You sometimes you go through that phase of like avoiding dating because of, past relationships, or sometimes how people say the dating pool has pee in it. So sometimes, it just depends on if you don't get out there, you won't know. And so then you learn things about yourself. It's not to take it in a negative way. It's just say, hey, I still have room to grow. It's an opportunity to grow. Anyone else have anything to say on this question here?
I would agree with you and Miss Tora. Whatever whatever still triggers you is something that you need to work on, but you don't know it until you actually actively attempt to see what that looks like. So that's all.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. It looks like we have a comment um, on Facebook says, I think I'll be ready when my focus is on being a partner and not trying to forcefully create a nuclear family or image. Woo, what y'all think about that?
They know what they're talking about.
Make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Anything that you have to force, you shouldn't do. It should be organic. It should flow smoothly. You guys should click. You should complement one another, and that person should really be your partner. If you're forcing it, that's one, not the person for you, and two, you may or may not be ready.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. We're going to move to the next question, and unless somebody has something else to say. All right. Next question is, how can single parents work through unresolved emotional baggage to become more prepared for healthy relationships?
I'll take that one too because I'm currently in that situation. You gonna laugh because you already know, but
Yay! That's all, my little heart over here saying, yay!
sometimes you may have to go back to therapy yourself. You just have to be honest with yourself during the process and take the necessary steps. So sometimes you still may need to talk through some stuff.
And
Therapist or a life coach, whichever one works
yeah,
best for you, whatever.
and to both of those points, some people need to be doing more therapy and less dating, and
Agreed.
some people
Agreed.
need to realize that they do need the therapy or that they do need to heal. That's the first step, is recognizing that there's something that's not clicking. If you can't make an emotional connection with anybody, if you're completely whatever just out there and you just go from person to person to person to person and there's no one's ever right, no one's ever okay, then it's probably not all of them. It's something that you need to work on yourself. And a lot of people don't realize that they need to do that. I heard somebody say, um, I don't need to heal, or I don't need to be fixed because I'm not broken. Well, it's not about you being broken, but the fact that you would make that statement says that there is something within you that needs to be worked on and worked through and healed, because we all recognize that there's something in us that we could do better, be better, make better about ourselves. And if you can't even recognize that, hey, maybe there's a trigger, there's something that this person is doing that's triggering me, like Coach Torres said, which means that I'm not ready. I'm not completely healed, and we won't be completely healed on this side of the Jordan. That complete healing comes on the other side, but we need to be doing the work so we're not out here spreading toxicity to others and making other people need therapy. you know?
I know
It's
you see
just
my
because
face
you're
expression.
functioning. Just because you're functioning doesn't mean you're healed.
That's
It's
it.
two different things.
Right. There's a certain thing called functioning in while in dysfunction. And that's real.
Yeah.
People are functioning in dysfunction. I was. Just because I laugh because Now I can talk about it. And that lets you know that, hey, I've healed from that. And it's okay. I accept all of me, good, bad, and ugly. And so I believe that if you're not emotionally intelligent, or you can't recognize where, you need to take a step back from something, or you need to readjust, then you're not ready to go out and date. Because there's other things that come along with um, dating someone. You got to be healthy enough to handle what they're bringing to the table, because they're bringing their faults, flaws, and all. Anybody else have anything to say on this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe I'm just piggybacking on what y'all said, but dating yourself first is way more important than dating anyone else. Um, But you got to know what that is that you haven't touched yet. And if you haven't addressed those things, and you know you haven't addressed those things, you can't possibly expect those things to be resolved. And I think that's what a lot of us do. We be like, I've been by myself for a year, or I've set out for a while. It's like, but if you set out and didn't do nothing, it's like sitting on the bench at a basketball game without talking to the coach to see what you need to improve on.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw some at you through this computer.
And that, and not only that, the sitting outside, but being comfortable with being single, being comfortable with sitting outside, understanding that alone and lonely aren't the same things, and being okay with being alone, being okay in your singleness, and recognizing that, hey, the coach didn't put you in the game. You're sitting on the bench because you won't take instruction from him, and he's trying to impart some wisdom, but you won't take it. So you're not coachable, you're not teachable, you're not ready to be coached or therapized. No, that's not a word. You just not ready. You just ain't ready, because you think that you got all the answers, and that's the worst person in the world to think they know everything about everything, and nobody can tell them anything. And unfortunately, we got a lot of folk out there in the dating pool, which is full of PM poo, actually. Except for Coach Tora, because she's the only one that she waded through that.
And I just, I wanted to get an opportunity to share because, we on the panel are talking about and giving insight, but, I think it's good to share examples of what that looks like. And so for me, I took myself to go see the Prince tribute out in another county outside of my regular county, put myself up in Airbnb for the night, treated myself dinner, just really loved on me, and felt good about it, and felt and came back feeling refreshed. And so it's real. It has an impact on you personally that makes you feel loved by you. You're not looking to be loved by someone else. You're looking to be loved by yourself.
That's good. That's good. I love that. I love that. Well, I think that just like lets us move on to the next question. Let's see here. Let's see here. Why is it important to address self worth and self love before entering the dating scene? I think we might have answered this question already. Anybody have anything else to say in particular that you
Well,
didn't
if you
already say?
if you don't know how to love yourself, and you're not capable of loving yourself, how can you love someone else? You're operating from an empty cup. You haven't poured into yourself, and you don't recognize that you deserve love from yourself and from others.
Agreed. Agreed. Anyone else?
I think it's
Yeah, and just to
you got it.
I was gonna say doing that just to make sure that you don't settle, because if you still haven't reached that point of knowing your worth, you can settle for something a little bit, less than what you actually deserve, because you haven't recognized that within yourself that you deserve better.
It's actually guaranteed that you will.
That part.
That part, and I was gonna say, if you don't define it for yourself, you leave it to someone else to define it for you. And if you don't define it, man, you basically are left to repeat the same things and accept the same results.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with everything that was just said. I have nothing else to say. We can move right along to the next one question. I think it might be another topic. Yeah. How to balance personal desires with parenting responsibilities. So, the first question under this area of discussion is what strategies can single parents use to ensure their personal desires do not conflict with their parenting priorities? Oh, anybody want to take that before I do?
Well, that's a good one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a woman and a mommy, I can speak from the women's perspective. And because I actually experienced some of this growing up, I ended up being raised by my great aunt and my great grandmother because once my parents split, my mother did not want to be a mother anymore. And she was more interested in going out to live her life and do her own thing. And she would occasionally pop back in and pop in and pop out. So one thing that single parents have to do, or just parents in general, once they decide that they're going to go separate ways and try to co-parent, is that they have to keep the kids as the priority. You can't, especially when the kids are younger, when they're minors, it's difficult. You can't, boyfriend can't come over. You can't be going out all the time. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. It doesn't make it right or wrong, but the kids are the priority, and they should not be crying for you at daycare drop off because they haven't really spent any time with you. You picked them up, you took them home, you fed them, you gave them a bath, you put them to bed, and you got up in the morning, you dropped them off, and you went to work, and then you had to go out on your date. And again, you have spent no time with the children cultivating that relationship. And so I think that's very important that unfortunately you do have to sacrifice, and that's the nature of the beast because the children have to come first. They need to see you having a healthy relationship with them and with yourself, and then forming healthy relationships with your partner or the person that you're choosing to partner with. That's just from my own experience.
I agree. I believe that it is a huge sacrifice of the things that you desire to do as an individual, not just as a single parent, and then realizing that your kids are a priority, not your personal desires. I also believe that even in my personal life, a lot of times I have to consider what my how my kids feel about mama dating. And so sometimes they give me some harsh responses. They really do, just because of what they have seen. You have to be careful too what your children have seen. If you have a live-in, that can give some trauma to them because they can get attached. They can become attached. So be careful before you think about yourself. Think about what will this do to my child or my children? How will this affect them before you make that decision to move someone in? Because the two of you may be ready, but are your children ready? So that's big for me. Going back to our other area of discussion with last question about self worth, we did have a comment. I'm going to show it on the screen. It says, "When I was choosing without self worth and love, I chose according to how I saw myself, and I expected them to give me things I was unwilling to give myself." Anybody want to piggyback off that, or anything that would encourage that person that stated that?
Well, I think that it's just in the statement that she says she chose according to how she saw herself. Um, the one of the things that's so important about the self healing process is that sometimes when you're looking at yourself, you can be looking at yourself through a broken mirror, through one of those mirrors that show up at the you know um, amusement parks that are skewed. And so it's so important to take that time to use your support system. I think that when we were talking last week, Coach Tora said, sometimes you got to listen to your friends and your loved ones, the ones that really care about you. Because if you're looking at yourself through a flawed lens, then you're going to think that you're something that you're not. And so as a result, you're going to expect things that are unrealistic based on your skewed view of yourself. So it's really important to use your community to get a clear picture of where you are right now, and then make a decision about where you really want to be. Is what they see really who the person that you want to be? And then make a decision for yourself and make a commitment to yourself. Journal and write a declaration to yourself, about what your commitment is to you to be a better version of yourself before you try to connect with someone else.
Right, I agree. And I want to piggyback and say one thing because it just keeps coming up in my spirit. Don't lose your identity as well, because that can happen. When you are so focused on expecting them to change something in you or to make you happy, make sure that you're happy before and that you love yourself enough before you get into a relationship, even just dating and getting to know someone, that you love yourself enough to say no to anything that's not, purposeful in your life. So that's my tidbit on that. Anybody else have anything on this question here?
Yeah, and I would just say, you have to give it to yourself first because they need to come in matching what you already giving yourself. Yeah.
Don't start at Coach Tora.
I'm
Absolutely.
gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna keep it simple. Take yourself on dates.
If
Then
I'm
everybody
Start.
taking
take
if
you
I'm
on
taking
dates.
All
myself
right.
You
on
know what I'm
trips,
saying?
That's
if I'm
right.
They
taking
gotta match
myself
each
on
other.
vacations,
That's
I'm
right.
gonna
Mhm.
be. I need you to match me going on vacations.
That's right.
That's what.
If you can't take trips, you ain't got a passport, you're not ready, then it's not a whole lot we can talk about.
That part.
Really.
Because if they're not,
Okay.
but the thing is, if they're not already doing it before y'all meet,
Uh,
they're not gonna do it when they meet you either.
They're
So they
not gonna
need
do
to
it when they meet you.
already be
That's
in the
right.
groove.
That's right.
In the groove.
That's something that I talk about with my former sister-in-law. Well, she's still my sister-in-law a lot. We talk about the experiences that we have and how sometimes as women, or men do it too, we downplay our past experiences and the things that we've done because we want to be with that particular person, and that particular person might not be the person for us because, as you said, they're not bringing the same experiences to the table. They don't do the things that we do, and so if you're not a traveler and I'm a traveler and you're looking at me crazy because I'm saying, "Oh, let's go here, let's go to Morocco," and you're looking at me like crazy because you've never been outside the 7 cities, that's not gonna work. Or I'm an avid reader and you read Cliff Notes, but I actually read the books. It's gonna be difficult for us to relate. Not saying it's possible, but it's gonna be difficult because here I am over here reading a book and you get an attitude because I'm reading a book. But I like that. Or I want to go garden and you think that's crazy, but that's therapeutic for me.
And I'm gaining insight and knowledge from that reading or my experiences, and then you come back to connect with a person who's not matching even your level of experience.
Hmm.
Because you each time you go out and you do something and you expose yourself to something new or something different, or just an adventure, you're coming back a different version of yourself. Who do you have to share that with and enjoy those things with if your partner doesn't have the same interest?
Now, this is real
Yeah.
weird. So if you are a sci-fi geek and you like Star Wars, and your person can't stand Star Wars, and you get excited because there's a new Star Wars franchise coming out, and your person can't stand Star Wars, and every time you put it on, that triggers them. That might not be your person. You know? I
Yeah,
mean,
it's really just that simple. It really is.
that's really simplistic, and it's probably not very important, but it's the little things that add up to big things, or that turn into big things, become an issue that you didn't think it was an issue at all, but it's an issue for them, and it's simmering and festering, and just one day they just blow up and go bananas, and you're trying to figure out it's just the baby Yoda. What's wrong with the baby Yoda? This person is having a meltdown, but yeah. So though all those things, all the little things turn into big things.
I had the funniest experience at the car dealership the other day because I was in there in the waiting room and the Hulk was on, and the Hulk is my inner person. That's who I connect with, right? So the someone came in and said, "Oh, which version of the Hulk? What is this?" And someone else said, "It doesn't matter. It's Hulk." You know, and I said, "Exactly." I said that's my favorite character. And he says, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I have a T-shirt that represents the Hulk. It's the T-shirt that I wear when I don't want nobody bothering me. It puts everybody on alert." He said, "Where did you get that T-shirt from?" I said, "I ordered it online." I said, "It says you won't like me when I'm mad." And it was just in that moment. I mean, it was not a chemistry connection, but it was someone who related with me on my interest. You know what I mean? It was just that quickly. And so you're looking for someone who can understand you, who can say, "Oh, I definitely understand where you're coming from. I know what you're talking about." So, yeah, just things like that. Things like that. So I believe that we're still live.
I think we are. I think we got disconnected from
Okay.
Marie, but we can keep jaw jacking. That ain't a problem for us.
Yeah, and then we can go to the next topic.
Uh-huh.
Let's see here.
Hey y'all, I'm still here. Sorry, I
Okay.
lost some power. I think Coach Tori sent her stuff over here. It just glitched for me.
All right.
Let
We
me
were
just
ready. We
work
were
it.
ready.
My
We
bad.
were ready.
Yeah,
I
Coach
love
Heather
it.
was
I love it.
Coach
I
Heather
love
was
it.
pulled up the next topic. She
Look,
ready.
I
we
heard it. I heard
okay.
There
it.
We
she
come
go.
ready.
She
Y'all were ready, huh? I love it. So the
What the
next
word
one is
said, be ye also ready.
that's
Ready.
it. That's it. That's it. So this question is, how can single parents find time for self-care and personal relationships without feeling guilty about their parenting role? We might have answered this one too. I think
We did.
um yeah. I think
We
we
did. Take
answered that
it. Take it. That's what it is. It's take it. Be selfish. Self care is selfish. That's my
one.
statement.
It's necessary.
Self-care is necessary. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
a part
that's
of
what I
your
was saying.
mental health practice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's part of, if you're not practicing good mental health and good wellness and all the stuff that encompasses that, then you're going to be pouring from an empty cup, and that's not going to be good for you or your children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Coach Heather, we gotta come in for you. That Hulk example is great.
Look, people don't even understand my inner Hulk. Woo! Don't come for me. I even look. I even have a color. I even have a purple color lip to go with the T-shirt. Don't come for me. It puts me on a different mind frame when I put this all together.
So are you a Lou Ferrigno Hulk fan, or
I actually
all
enjoy
of
all of them. I haven't. There's not been one that I have not enjoyed because it's the concept behind the story.
them?
So yeah, that's
We
why I
just told
enjoy.
we just told our age because most people don't know who Lou Ferrigno
I
is.
know, right? Stop it,
It's
Coach,
all good.
stop.
It's all good. It's all good. You got the next question because I think we she glitched again.
Okay, so hold on a minute because we did. How can single? Okay, we already talked about that one,
No,
and
I'm
then
here. I'm here. It's just trying to get this together. So sorry.
okay.
This is the area. Okay, here it is. What is the importance of setting clear priorities and how can these guide dating decisions?
That's a Coach Toro question.
You know what? Let me cook. Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
And the only reason I said that is because Coach Toro has gone through the process, and she has got it. Not, I don't know if a perfect science is the right word, but she knows what it takes to get to the place where you can make a good decision and date with intention and with purpose. And that's why I said Coach Toro, because me, I'm on the sidelines. I'm like, Coach, please do not put me in. For the love of God, don't put me in. That's me. Please don't put me in, Coach. That's what I am. So I'm probably not the best person to answer this question.
But like Coach Sheree said, you're not gonna know and not gonna learn and not gonna
But I
move
tried.
past
Listen.
those.
The little boy said, "Listen, Linda, listen, I
Listen,
tried.
Linda, listen.
Listen, Linda, it was not for a lack of trying. I
You said
tried."
there was poop and piss. There was poop and pee in the water.
It was respectful. I ain't doing it no more. Please, for the love of God, don't make me go back out there. I
But just know, audience, we are not discouraging dating.
Oh, absolutely
We
not.
are not here to discourage it because
Absolutely not.
but it's not. It's but the honest to goodness truth it is it's not for everybody, especially when you've got to a certain point in your life. When your grades start coming out and everything, you that means you've been
Okay.
through some
You've
things.
been through some things.
You've
When
been
you Yeah, us Gen Xers, we a little different. And so
through,
when we was dating back in the, 1900s, I don't know what the kids get that from. My great grandmother was born in 1900, okay? I wasn't born in 1900. But when we dated, it was different. And that I was your girl and you were my guy, and that's just what it was. And so when you get married and you come out of marriage into this new stuff, and you're like, hold on, wait a minute. Somebody told me, hey, you can't text them back for 2 weeks. Wait a minute, what do you mean? You all these crazy, insane rules. I said, you know what,
what?
mister? Yeah,
2 weeks.
one of the young girls, she said, oh, girl, you can't respond to them too quick. Wait, what?
The way my memory works, I'd have forgot about you in 2 weeks. Hold up.
That part. That's see, those are games that people play.
I said,
Those are
what?
games. When you get serious, this thing with the priorities, your yes has to be
Mhm,
yes and your no has to be no. You have to know what you want.
mhm.
You have to know what you want. A lot of people out here really don't know
Absolutely.
what they want, especially if you go on dating
Hmm.
websites. You know how many people that say, I'm still figuring it out, Skip? If you
Yep.
still figuring it out, that's not it. You have to know what you want and set and be intentional with somebody that's as intentional as you are. And then you don't have any problems. But if, again, you have to know what you want.
I'm gonna piggyback on what Miss Torres said. Yeah, man, most people want companionships. They don't want partnerships. So therefore, you play a game so that you can stay in the circumference of a person, but that doesn't allow y'all to orbit together. Like intent is the whole thing. When I say even in my age, I don't think I'm that much younger than y'all, but man, you know what you want when you know what you want, and when you know what you want, ain't no need to play a game about it. The priority serves as two things. One is it shows a level of self love, and two, it serves a level of protection. People who can't meet your priorities automatically weed themselves out. I don't have to kick you off the team because you already chose to turn your gear in. So yeah,
And you don't even
Preach.
have to be our age to know because you are a man that stands on what on principles and beliefs, and so right automatically that
Mhm.
puts you in a different class by yourself, which can actually be lonely sometimes. You know what I mean? And I think that that's what we're saying, even as women, that this journey can sometimes be lonely when you do put 10 toes down, and you're saying, okay, these are my clear priorities, but you have somebody on the sideline with you coaching you, talking about, oh yeah, don't call them or don't respond back for 2 weeks. What are you talking about? That don't even make no sense.
Yeah,
You know what I
remove
mean?
that person from the circle. Remove
Yeah,
that person.
so when
Yeah.
we talk about dating, what's guiding dating decisions, are we talking about the people that are out here dating now, like, or are we going back to some another set of standards? And so then we got to talk about what are the standards out here now, and
Coach Heather,
what.
the folk in our age group and older are doing this foolishness with this new dating stuff. They are saying, I date casual. Sir, casual is a type of clothes. That is not a relationship category. Absolutely not. I got that from somebody who came out of our age group, actually older than our age group.
That's confusing.
Very confusing.
That's confusing. I
And
just
sir, you didn't date like that back in the day because that's not what was going on. So
So
a
where
lot
did
of
you get that from?
where'd you get that from? They're taking these mentalities from these, what are they called? Millennials, Z's, or whatever they are. They're taking this type of mentality and mindset and bringing it to grown folk situations and conversations. And I'm just not interested. I'm not having that.
I mean, my opinion on that is age sets aside, man. That's just dating out of a space of fear. Man, you give yourself 2 weeks to allow a person to respond to a person. Therefore, by that time, you're allowing your emotions to be diluted. So if rejection comes to you, now you can be like, oh, it's okay. I wasn't in it in the first place. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think of dating or I think of love in the biblical sense where it's like love is patient, love is kind, love is this. It's like, man, I write poetry in my spare time. That's my way of journaling. I have a poem that says, bro, I don't love you for you. I love you for me. Whatever you receive out of that is you. If you don't enjoy it or you don't receive it openly, it's like, man, God made me to love. Therefore, I can't be hurt by the fact that you didn't receive it. You was just the person it was. You weren't the person it was meant for. That's all. So regardless of it, the pain doesn't come from there. The pain comes from the desire of wanting something more than I deserve what they're giving me.
And
Okay,
nor
the
are they
collection
going to do
plate one
that.
more time. Collection plate one more time.
I was
Pass
about
the
to say,
plate.
pass the plate. What are organs? Let's go
That's what.
home.
Hence the
In
reason that
addition,
people are in the positions that they're in because they're not willing to do that type of work.
nope.
Like
First of
you
all, you're
literally
not.
are in a class by yourself. You need a whole panel by yourself to have these discussion with the men and the young ladies to set a standard to say, hey, look, as a man, I'm telling you, if you don't put your foot down and if you're accepting X, Y, and Z, you're not serious about dating.
And
Mhm.
I think that's the issue. A lot of people aren't serious about dating. They're interested and more serious in who can take me to the most fancy restaurant. How much was the bill? Like these things on TikTok, the girl got upset because she went to the Cheesecake Factory. Ma'am, what's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory? There's nothing wrong with the Cheesecake Factory. They want to go to the most expensive restaurants. They want you to buy them bags and just a bunch of nonsense and foolishness. It's all very superficial because they act like this and the rules are the way they are because they are not dating with intention and they're not dating for relationships and marriage and longevity. They're dating just to get a meal or a bag or whatever. And so
Mhm.
they're also not coming from the biblical perspective. See, Elder John there, his perspective is different because he's coming from a biblical worldview and not a secular worldview. So that makes a whole lot of difference. And a lot of these people don't have that same worldview that he has and that outlook. And so they are coming from that. And so somebody like us raised in church, we're looking at people like, what's wrong with y'all? We yeah, we was we went out there, we did our stuff, but in the back of our mind, we're like, that's not right. We're not gonna do that.
There was some foundational things that were imparted in us that if we swayed away from it, we brought those back, and those foundational things were very important and they were solid and it was biblical. We say the word never wavers. The word never wavers. We may waver. We literally will be like tumblewood rolling down the street, you know but when we reflect back on what is it that we really understand about the word and how much it grounded us and how much it grounded the people that deposited the word in us, we tend to go back.
Absolutely.
So it's yeah. um Elder John definitely is hitting all the keys,
Absolutely.
on the organ. We should probably all be doing a dance right now.
Cue the
I
organ.
think Elder John got a comment as well. I'm going to show it on the screen saying play a game to stay in the circumference, companionship versus partnership. So you got a kudos on that, Coach John. Let's see here.
And
But
some
anybody
and,
else have a comment? Oh, go ahead.
and
I'm
some
sorry.
of us, I'm sorry, some of us are okay with companionship. We just want somebody to hang out with, go to the movies, let's go to the football game. Nothing else, nothing romantic, nothing. It's okay to have a companion. The older folk, when they got a certain age, they might have had a companion. And there's nothing wrong with having a companion. But if your goal is to be in a partnership and to be married and to have somebody to spend the rest of your life with, then that should be your intention and that's what you should be looking for. And so I know I joke a lot and I say, please, for the love of God, don't put me in. I'm okay because I'm looking for companionship. I'm not looking for a partner, not at this season in my life. So please understand, people. I'm not telling you don't date. I'm just saying, for me, in my 50 plus,
She
I'm
said,
looking
"As for me and my house."
for me at my house. We gonna fill the bench, coach. We good.
Nah, I respect it. I just feel, man, communication is everything. If that's what you want, that should be established, like in a conversation, so that we both know that that's what we want. It get real weird when y'all done went on 5 dates, and then you like, so what we doing? And it's like, I'm companioning, and you like, well, I'm trying to partner. Like, even in my space, like, man, I date, but I treat dating like a business. It's like, man, if it's 6 months in, you need to like, hey, let's check back and see if we still in this for the same reasons. If not, bro, I don't want to waste another 6 months. Like, but that turned into the space of one self love. It's like, man, I look at myself how women say, man, I'm that girl. It's like, bro, I'm really that. Like, I ain't finna sit here 6 months, 12 months with you when it's like I could go find what's necessary for myself. and vice versa. It's like, man, you may have wanted something different than what I'm willing to offer. If I never communicated that, I did us both a disservice.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely agree. And I
Where's
do
the bell?
believe that go ahead, Coach Heather.
I was like, where's the bell? Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to end the live and we're not even finished with the rest of the questions.
I'm just saying. Like, what?
I mean, like, I think also, like he said, in 6 months, but I also believe that even when it feels right, because sometimes we go based off feelings, even when it feels right, and there are certain things that you set standards for yourself, keep them. It may be hard to let go, but sometimes you have to do like a process of elimination. Like, yeah, this person can make me laugh, or this person can talk about politics, this person can talk about this, but then if it's on your list for the person to have a relationship with God and they don't have it, again, that's a no-brainer. It's a non-negotiable. You can't wait until they get themselves together because you're wasting your time. You're missing out on what God has for you. So definitely consult God. Definitely pray for guidance because that may be an area that you struggle in. And if you struggle in that area, that's okay. But you're self-aware. It doesn't make you any less and any undeserving of love, partnership. You're just in a place where you know what you want and don't settle. Don't take anything less than that. And even if that process takes you 6 months to a year, that's your process. Because the next time, the next person gonna present that, and you won't waste no time. You be like, nope, moving on. I love me, men and women, not just women. Men have to know they have to love themselves too. Even especially for our black men, saying that they're the protector, they're the provider, they're this, that, and the other. Absolutely. I understand that. But you have just because a woman is strong, that doesn't mean or she's independent, it doesn't mean that she doesn't desire a man. She doesn't desire partnership. She just desires the right type of man. And she's not gonna take anything less. She's not gonna settle. So that's my tidbit on that. Anybody else have anything else on this question? All right, moving right along. So, discussing your children with a new partner, when and how. Ooh, that's a good one. What factors should single parents consider when deciding the right time to discuss their children with a new partner? Anyone want to take that one?
Coach Tora.
You're being called out.
I would say, um, making sure that they're ready for that. Making sure that they're ready for that. I think I can really speak on that from two different perspectives because I grew up with step parents, and I think when my mom decided to marry my stepdad, I wasn't ready for that. I don't think I really had a say so in that. I don't think anybody really cared how that was gonna affect my life. Um, but yeah, just making sure that they're ready for that. Now my kids is a little different because they kind of asking me, well, prior to now, like when you. So yeah, it's different from that perspective. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Awesome. Anybody else?
Well,
I also think, go ahead.
I'm
I'm sorry.
sorry. I would
No,
guess
go ahead.
if you and that person are trying to form a partnership and you've talked about it, like Elder John talked about the communication. If you guys have talked about that, your children, his children, how we're going to come together, what is our purpose, what are our intentions, I guess that would play a factor in determining the correct time to discuss with your children about your new partner and with your new partner about your children. Communication would be key.
Absolutely. And reassure them that, sometimes it's a process that you have to go through. Um, I think sitting down and talking to them and understanding that you have to consider what situations you've put them in that they may be feeling uncomfortable. I mean, I had to figure that out for myself with mine. They become attached to people, and well, I don't want it to be like the last one. That's what mine would say. Well, I don't want you to get hurt. Kids see things, they observe it, and they, mine, they ready to, if for lack of better words, probably act the fool, about their mom because I'm the same about them. But at the end of the day, it's definitely best to have a conversation. And like we said on one of those other questions, making sure that you prioritize your children, which is your priority versus how you feel personally. Because again, they're going to be there. Will that person be there that you're considering? Because sometimes they consider, um, I don't think we consider as single parents what you put them into. We only consider how we feel and what we deserve and how long it's been since you've been in a relationship, if that makes sense. So it's really important to, think and be wise and let that be a wise decision. Pray about it, so that you are able to make sure that you're not overlooking how they feel, you're not putting their feelings aside, but you're also considering the pace that you need to go at, specifically for them and yourself. So anyone else have anything else to say on this question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Next one is, how can single parents gauge a potential partner's readiness to embrace a relationship involving children? Anyone want to take that one?
Coach John.
I'm gonna say conversation first, communication first. Um, I'm just speaking from the experience of dating single parents. Uh, man, you can see in a person's reaction how they respond when you bring children up. Like that is a clear indication right there. Some people, and I can use myself as an example. Man, I actually like kids, so I don't mind. But then there are other people, when you bring them up, you can see the anxiousness on them, and they try to be like, "Oh no, it's perfectly fine." It's like, nah, it's not fine. Like, it's not like a I got a pet at the house, and it's like, man, you can warm up to it. It's like, nah, this is a human being. So if the communication frightens you, then you are already in a bad space, in my opinion.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Anyone else? Okay, well, we're gonna move right along to the next question. What boundaries should be set to ensure children are not introduced too soon or involved prematurely in a new relationship? Well, that's a good question. Coach Charlita, I see your facial expression, honey.
I, well, that
That's one
that
right there now.
ooh, that one, that they're loaded. That it's a
Yeah, it's
lot
very
because
loaded.
it's again, if you haven't had the conversation with the potential partner about said children, and you guys have not even discussed how children play into your relationship, what your relationship is going to look like, what your long term goals are. I think you have to discuss some of those things to set the boundary. I would think it's like a job, 90 days minimum before you introduce them. Um, when you get a new job, your benefits start at 90 days, and so a benefit of being in my life is having a relationship with my children, and I don't want to introduce my children to you too soon because I might not really like you and you might not really like me, and this may not be for us, and we don't want the kids to get attached to you or you to them, and then we decide 6, 12, 18 months down the road that, you know what, I really can't stand you. You chew with your mouth open and you keep leaving the toilet seat up and you put the toilet paper on the wrong way because it's patented to go this way and not that way, and you keep doing it, and that's really making me angry, and so I just can't be with you. We don't want to have all of these things going on, and the kids are like, oh my gosh, mom's lost her mind because he put the toilet seat up, but we love him. So, I think that's a case by case basis, but I do truly believe that the first 90 days you should not be introducing your kids to your potential partner, for the man or the woman. um, that's a good one, but I think the communication is key.
Yep, I agree
Yes,
with
I
the 90
agree.
days. I
I
definitely
like
agree with the
that.
90 days. I got a marriage that didn't even last 90 days. So by all means, please wait longer than 90 days. Okay.
Absolutely, I agree too.
I like the
Even
90-day
Coach
rule.
Joe had
I
to
love
fall back
you.
on that
I
one.
tell you, I love Coach Tora.
I do too.
I'm just saying. I'm
You're
so
all the
honest.
way 100.
I am so
I
honest.
love it. The transparency. Like, listen, it
So
didn't last
honest.
9 days. Please, for the love of God, don't let. But yeah, love Coach Tora. I love all of y'all, but Coach Tora is hilarious.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. We're gonna move right along to the next thing. Setting boundaries in new relationships for the sake of the children. How can single parents establish and communicate boundaries that prioritize their children's well-being in new relationships? Sound like we answered this one too already.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. We'll go to the next one. What are the risks of not setting clear boundaries and how can they affect children's emotional health? We somewhat touched on this, but does anyone have anything else?
I think that it can create some resentment from the children. They love their parents unconditionally, um, but there it creates unnecessary resentment towards their parents. Maybe even losing a little bit of respect for them when they don't feel that their parents are setting boundaries. I think it impacts their trust of their parents.
Yes, I agree. I've experienced that because with my children, it impact their trust and even my, on my decision making skills. Like they really were like, "Mom, like, why would you do that? You not standing on business." What? What you just say to me? I'm the parent. Be quiet. Go to your room. No. But it's like, seriously, I'm not standing on business. How? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing? Because sometimes when you are the participator, you don't know what your audience is observing, your children. You don't know what they're observing. So you want to make sure that you have an open forum with your children so that when they do see things, that they can come to you and talk to you and say, hey, yeah, mama, you not, because sometimes they don't understand what we're doing. Again, they are whatever age that they are, they have that mindset. Mine are almost 15, 14, 17, and 24. And sometimes they think they know more than me. But again, it affects them because of what they've seen, especially if my 24-year-old have seen things as young as 2 years old. So, and remembers things. So you have to be careful about the risk that you're going to take and not setting those clear boundaries. And even if you mess up in that area, don't beat yourself up. Learn from it and move on. So, anyone else have anything else on this one?
I would like to share just that, as having my adult children come to me and talking to me about their experiences and giving them the space to ask their questions for clarity. Because, like you said, when they're children, they see things from a children's point of view. And so when they're saying to you, or questioning you as a child and you're dismissing them, um, that can, put them in a space of, mommy didn't hear me. She didn't validate my feelings or anything like that. And some of those things we can't. Some of those things we cannot put explanations to because they cannot understand it from a children's perspective. But providing the space to talk to your children as adults and letting them ask questions and you providing them clarity. I've noticed that for my own adult children, it has helped them in their decision making. Where we were able to say, yeah, that wasn't one of your best moments. I learned from that.
Absolutely. I do agree. Coach Tora, you got the audience, you making them laugh too. Coach Tora is so real and funny.
Listen, I don't know. I don't have anything else other than me and my stories, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyone else before we go to the next slide? Okay. Can either of you share examples of healthy boundaries that have worked well in your own experience or for others you've coached? I think for me, I would say, um, sticking to your boundaries. So one thing I had to learn to say is saying no to myself. And let's just keep it all the way real, saying no to my flesh and allowing my spirit to lead, because that is a hard one, especially if it's an area that you struggle in. You know, a lot of people will look at you, and if you say, okay, well, no, I'm not going to have sex while dating. Let's just put that out there because that's a common thing. We live in a sex crave world. And that's what the first thing people are going to see is physical before you speak. So if you decide to say that, then like, oh, well, you a single parent, you got 3 kids. What that mean? I have to keep my spiritual hat on because, my hood one-on-one might get back on. So make sure I don't handle it the wrong way. But, honestly, I think also with your healthy boundaries, being confident in where you are, not allowing anyone to sway you. Your boundaries are your boundaries and stick to them. Especially if you're like me and you fought hard to get to this place where you're at and you're still making sure that you stay in that place and that you continue to grow. And even in those areas where there's still residual things, you want to make sure that you get rid of the residual too. Just like if you leave something on the counter, you waste water, but you wipe it up, but you can still see that there's something still there. What do? You go and you grab a paper towel, a towel, and you dry it up. That's how life is. You want to make sure that you heal from those residuals too. It's necessary for yourself. Anyone else have anything else? We're gonna move right along. Woo, Coach Tora. The challenges and joys of blending families. Ooh, wee. Ooh, are
My
you
God,
ready?
today.
Love. So, on this question, it says, what are some of the most common challenges when blending families, and how can they be overcome?
All right, all right, all right. The most common challenges would have to be step parents not knowing their place. Everybody has a role to play. And yeah, yeah, I'm gonna keep it real simple. I think that's the challenge of anybody at any time forgetting the role that they play when it comes to the kids.
Yeah,
That's it.
I agree because I know when my parents divorced and my father remarried, and my mother was still living at this time, and she asked me, she said, "Your dad wants you know, your approval for what? That's his wife. That ain't." So, but for me, it's like even to this day, a lot of times she'll say, "Hey, how my grandbabies doing? No, these are my mother grandchildren. You are my father's wife. Stay over there now. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that may be wrong for other people, but I'm not cursing at you. I'm not. But stay in your lane, play your
Stay in your
role.
lane and we won't crash. Stay in your
Yeah,
lane and we won't crash. I don't like
yeah,
that
no
feeling.
head-on collisions. Let's avoid them.
Yep. And when I
You
beep, I
believe?
need you to realize you're getting a little too close to my line and get back over there.
Yep, my lights
Warning
are
comes
on bright
before
now.
destruction.
But
Yeah. Warning always come before destruction. Yep.
absolutely. I think that is so important because even as a grown woman, it can still affect you. Like even with children, my kids are like, why does she say that'd be her grandkid? But they know their grandmother, my mother. That's who they know as their grandmother. So, but yeah, I agree. Anybody else have anything else on this one? Okay, moving right along. How can single parents ensure their children feel secure and valued in a blended family dynamic? Okay, Coach Story, it's yours.
Um, Affirming, just affirming. It's affirming. And one thing I can say when it comes to, again, my kids, because they all have siblings, they all have stepmothers, and for the most part, it really hasn't been any tough issues. I put it that way, especially with my youngest two. Their still mama love them down. So that's why I say that's one thing. It's just affirming them that they are loved, making sure that they know, just because mom and daddy didn't work doesn't mean that we love you any less. It doesn't have anything to do with you. You know, that's it. Communication, communication.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Anyone else? Before we get to the next slide. All right. Can either of you share personal experiences or stories of how blended families has brought unexpected joys or opportunities for growth?
Yeah, the joys would be the other kids that come along with it too, because they do have other siblings. So sometimes that can be the joy in it because you don't want to separate them. So it's kind of like you're gaining, you're kind of adding to your family, if that makes sense. If everybody is mature enough to come together and do things accordingly, then in a sense, you kind of gain more than anything else.
Right. And I think also for me, I think as time went on, once things weren't as, I guess, heart wrenching with my father remarrying, I think being able to see my dad's wife as who she is, versus whatever issue it was between my parents. I think that was a big deal because the reassurance would have been nice, but it didn't happen. So when you have to work around where the reassurance didn't happen at, sometimes that can be challenging. I believe that for me, getting to know her and understanding who she was wasn't the ideal thing, but I did begin to see how she loved my father. And so because I love my father, that helped me to be more accepting of her and understanding of her, and even times probably taking her sides when, they had their little, deals. But I also believe that, when the reassurance isn't there, you do need to make, you have to at some point maybe try to get to know that person, because maybe wherever whatever your mindset is on that situation, that's how you judge that person, and then it also affects how you treat that person. Anyone else have anything else? I think we have just a couple more. Let's see here. Let me just make sure. Oh, we're losing Coach Heather. Okay. So I think that's it. We have a couple key takeaways, final tips and takeaways. Anyone want to take red flags to read that one for me? Can y'all see that? Or is it, can y'all see it? Okay. So for red flags and green flags, anybody want to talk about those key tips and takeaways? You can just read it from the screen.
I'll take it. Red flags and green flags. Watch for red flags like disrespect for your role as a partner or unwillingness to support your boundaries. Seek green flags like empathy, shared values, and genuine interest in building a connection with both you and your children. Stay objective by balancing emotions with clear observation of actions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyone want to take toxic traits and self-awareness for final tips and takeaways?
Address any toxic patterns within yourself before dating to ensure healthier relationships. Recognize and address toxic behaviors in partners early to avoid long term issues. Self awareness is key to breaking harmful cycles and fostering healthier bonds.
Okay, and then breaking generational cycles. Anybody want to take that one? Or I can. Okay,
Reflect on
I'll
how
take.
family history shapes your relationship choices and actively work to break negative patterns. Model healthy relationship behaviors for your children to create a positive legacy.
Awesome, awesome. Let's see here. The next one. Personal growth before dating. I'm gonna call out Coach John to read this one.
Take time to heal and grow before dating if unresolved emotional baggage or self worth issues arise. Prioritize self love and confidence to attract healthier relationships.
And balancing personal desires and parenting. Align your personal desires with your parenting priorities to avoid conflicts. Set aside time for self care and relationships without guilt. It makes you a stronger parent. Clear priorities help guide better dating decisions. Anyone want to take the next one, discussing your children with a new partner?
Oh, why not? Discussing your children with a new partner. Wait until trust is established before introducing your children into the conversation. Gauge a partner's readiness for a family dynamic before moving forward and set boundaries to protect your children from premature involvement.
Okay, and the next two, anyone else want to take setting boundaries for children's well-being?
Establish
Establish
clear, consistent boundaries that prioritize your children's emotional health. Healthy boundaries ensure stability and security for both you and your family.
Coach Tori, do we give blending families back to you?
Yep, I'll take it.
Okay.
Expect challenges, but approach them with open communication and patience. Help your children feel valued and secure as dynamic shift. Embrace the unexpected joys that come with blending families and creating new traditions.
Okay, and last but not least, the key takeaway: healthy relationships start with self awareness, clear priorities, and open communication. When you're intentional about protecting your well being and that of your children, you create space for love to flourish in a way that uplifts everyone involved. And we do have a comment. Oh, she's enjoyed this conversation. It's been insightful and engaging. Great job, coaches, all of you. Yay! Thank you. Yay. So let's see here. Last but not least, um, we take this off here. Um, Here are the ways that we can be reached. Coach Tora is at thehavacorp@gmail.com. Coach Tora, what's your Instagram as well?
I am Tora Love.
Okay. And then Coach Heather is Heather Carpenter04@gmail.com. Coach Charlita is Instagram at the Rise Girl. And Coach John is jgridsconsultant@gmail.com. And for myself, it's info at the singleparentlifecoach.com, or as we're on Facebook and Instagram, you can send a message to me there. Anyone have any final takeaways or key points for tonight's live?
I just want to add at the end, especially with the blended families, I think as long as the kids stay in the center of everything, it's fine. The parents, what the other person is doing with their partner, all of that is kind of irrelevant because sometimes, we can get caught up in that. But just make sure the well-being of the kids stay on forefront, no matter whether it's dad being remarried, mom being remarried. Because at the point that you decide to split, you have to accept the fact that there's going to be a step parent in the picture.
Absolutely, I agree. Anyone else?
Happy hunting.
And that's it.
That's it. That's all. Anyone else? Did we lose Coach John?
He's there. He's
Oh, he's
there.
sitting there. He's
Look, he have to gather himself sometimes behind what we say. They have to hustle. They have to hustle just threw him for a loop.
yes, it threw me for a loop too.
messed us all up. We're like, what? Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Well,
It ain't
it
for the
has been a
faint of
pleasure.
heart. Gird up
It
your
has been a
loins.
pleasure. Huh?
She said, "Happy hunting. Gird up your loins."
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
just saying, interpret it however you want to interpret it.
Well, I hope we have said something that has encouraged you all or given you insight into your own dating world, your own single parent journey, and that you've been encouraged and that just know you're not alone. We're all are going through something, dealing with something, trying to change this, change that. Be patient with yourself, give yourself grace. Trust me, you're not by yourself. You're not the only one. Just stay in your lane. Don't compare yourself to other people. Anyone else have anything else? Y'all, this is the last one. I kind of feel I want to bring y'all back on for something else. But we got through it.
Have
Kudos to
another
us.
session.
Yay. We can. We'll find something to talk about now. Y'all have a good night. Until next time, we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.